What if the quiet numbness you feel isn't peace, but the slow, silent death of the warrior you were born to be? What if the comfortable haze you drift through each day is not a shelter, but a cage, its bars forged from your own apathy? You feel it, don't you? A hollowness in the chest, a silent scream behind the eyes, a deep and ancient instinct buried under layers of distraction and mediocrity that knows you were meant for more. Not just more success, more money, more hollow validation, more impact, more fire, more danger. You were meant to be a force of nature, a blade so sharp that the world itself would have to reckon with your edge. Instead, you have become a drifter, a ghost haunting the hallways of your own life, a passenger in a vessel with no captain, tossed about on an ocean of meaningless routine. The currents of societal expectation pull you one way, the tides of cheap dopamine pull you another, and you mistake this constant motion for progress. You mistake the noise of the world for the sound of your own life. But in the dead of night, when the screens go dark and the distractions fade, the silence is deafening. In that silence, the truth whispers. It tells you that you are living a fraction of the life you could. It tells you that the man you see in the mirror is a stranger, a watered-down, domesticated version of the titan sleeping within. You walk through your days feeling unseen, unheard, a shadow moving through a world of solid objects. You do what is expected. You follow the map you were given, the one that promises a safe, predictable destination. But your soul craves the wilderness. Your spirit yearns for the storm. You consume endless content about strength, discipline, and power, seeking a spark to ignite the damp wood of your spirit. You listen to the words of great men, hoping their fire will somehow become your own through osmosis. Yet when the video ends, when the book closes, you return to the same familiar drift. The same comfortable currents pull you back out to the sea of inaction. You feel a profound and bitter disconnect between the man you know you could be and the man who goes through the motions every single day. You are caught in a paradox. You possess the knowledge of what it takes to change, but you lack the raw, untamed will to set the world ablaze, starting with the flimsy constructs of your current reality. You are a lion who has been told he is a lamb for so long that he has forgotten the feeling of his own roar. You are a swordsmith who has spent his life polishing rust. This isn't just a slump. It isn't just a bad phase. It is a spiritual sickness, an abdication of the throne of your own mind. It is the slow surrender of your sovereignty to the forces of comfort and conformity. This is not another fleeting dose of motivation. This is an awakening. This is the shattering of the cage and the reforging of the man inside. Over the next moments, which will stretch into a journey, we will not be talking about finding your purpose. The universe does not hide your destiny under a rock for you to stumble upon. We will talk about forging one. We will explore the brutal alchemical process of melting down the drifter, the weak, distracted, aimless man, and from his ashes casting a weapon. A man of dangerous purpose. A man whose very presence is a statement. A man who moves with such intention that the world bends around his path. You will learn that your apathy is a shield, and we are going to break it. You will understand that discipline is not a punishment, but the sharpening of your soul. You will discover how to cultivate an inner fire so intense that it burns away all that is not you, leaving only a core of pure, unshakable will. This is your call to arms. The war is not against an external enemy. It is against the ghost in your own machine. It is time to stop drifting and start carving your name into the fabric of existence. It is time to become dangerous. The first and most vital truth you must absorb, the one that will serve as the foundation for this entire transformation, is this: the world does not want you to be dangerous. Society has a vested interest in your docility. It needs you to be a predictable consumer, a compliant worker, a manageable citizen. It wants you to drift. A drifter is easy to control. A drifter follows the current. He buys what he's told to buy, believes what he's told to believe, and chases the fleeting pleasures dangled before him. He seeks comfort above all else because a comfortable man will never risk rocking the boat. A man of dangerous purpose, however, is a threat. He is a glitch in the system. He doesn't follow the current, he generates his own. He doesn't seek comfort, he seeks growth, and growth is born only from the ashes of discomfort. He doesn't need external validation because he has forged his own internal compass, and its needle points to a true north that only he can see. This man is dangerous because he is free. He is dangerous because he cannot be easily manipulated by fear or bribed with trivialities. He is dangerous because his purpose is his own, and he will sacrifice, bleed, and burn for it. Understanding this is your first victory. You must stop seeing your lack of purpose as a personal failing and start seeing it as a societal conditioning. You have been tamed. The awakening begins the moment you realize that the cage door has been unlocked the entire time. You simply have to remember how to walk out of it and, more importantly, why you must. The journey from drifter to warrior, from a ghost to a king, begins not with an action but with a death. You must hold a funeral for the man you are today. This is not a metaphor for gentle change. It is a call for a brutal and deliberate execution of the self. The part of you that craves comfort, that seeks distraction, that whispers excuses in the dark, it must be put to the sword. You must become the executioner of your own weakness. Look at your life with the cold, detached eyes of a strategist assessing a battlefield. Identify the habits that sedate your ambition, the endless scrolling that numbs your mind and robs you of your time, the junk food that clouds your thoughts and weakens your vessel, the empty conversations that drain your spirit, the reliance on cheap dopamine that makes the hard, meaningful work feel impossible. These are not harmless quirks of your personality. They are the chains that bind the titan within you. Each one is a thread, seemingly weak on its own, but together they form an unbreakable rope that keeps you tethered to mediocrity. You cannot negotiate with this weakness. You cannot reason with it or promise to moderate it. You must declare war. This part of you, the drifter, is a parasite that has fed on your potential for years. It has grown fat and complacent in the host of your soul. To kill it, you must starve it. You must create an environment so hostile to its existence that it withers and dies. This means embracing a level of austerity and discipline that will feel like punishment at first. It means choosing the cold shower over the warm comfort. It means choosing the blank page over the glowing screen. It means choosing the silence of your own thoughts over the noise of the crowd. Every time you consciously choose the path of greater resistance, you are swinging the axe. Every time you deny a craving for instant gratification, you are tightening the noose. This process is not pleasant. It is a violent, wrenching exorcism. There will be a part of you that screams, that begs for the old comforts, that tries to convince you this is too extreme, too harsh. That voice is the death rattle of the drifter. Do not listen to it. Let it scream. Your job is to stand over the grave of your former self, stone-faced and resolute, and ensure that it never rises again. This is the first and most necessary sacrifice at the altar of your dangerous purpose. Without this death, there can be no rebirth. Once the old self is dead and buried, you are left in a void, a terrifying, liberating emptiness. The drifter is gone, but the warrior has not yet been born. This is the most critical stage, the crucible where your new identity will be forged. The world has taught you to find your passion, as if it were a lost set of keys. This is a lie designed to keep you searching, to keep you drifting. Purpose is not found. It is forged. It is a deliberate act of creation, born from will and hammered into shape by discipline. In this void, you do not look outward for answers, you look inward. You must ask yourself a question of terrifying simplicity. What do I stand for? Not what do I want, but what do I stand for? Wants are fickle. They are the whims of the ego, changing with the seasons. But what you stand for, that is the bedrock. That is the steel from which you will forge your compass. This is not about choosing a career or a hobby. It is about defining your code, your personal, non-negotiable laws. Perhaps you stand for strength, for the unwavering ability to bear any burden, to face any storm without breaking. Perhaps you stand for truth, for the courage to see the world as it is, not as you wish it were, and to speak that truth even when it is difficult. Perhaps you stand for creation, for the discipline to bring something new into the world, to build something that will outlast you. Choose your pillar. It doesn't matter what it is, only that it is yours, chosen in the silent solitude of your own mind, free from the influence of others. This pillar becomes your true north. It is the unwavering point on the horizon that you will navigate by. Every decision, every action, every thought will now be measured against this standard. Does this move me closer to embodying strength? Does this align with my commitment to truth? Does this serve my act of creation? This is the forging of the compass. It is a slow, arduous process. You will hammer this code into your soul through daily repetition. You will write it down. You will speak it aloud in the morning when you wake and at night before you sleep. You will meditate on it. You will make it the central operating system of your mind. At first, it will feel artificial, like a role you are playing. But with every action aligned to this code, you are pouring molten steel into the mold of your new self. With every temptation resisted, you are tempering the blade. The empty void begins to fill not with the noise of the world, but with the quiet, unshakable certainty of your own internal law. This is the birth of purpose. It is not a destination. It is a direction. It is a dangerous direction because it is yours alone, and it will lead you away from the well-trodden paths of the herd and into the untamed wilderness of your own potential. With the compass forged and pointing toward your true north, the next stage is the relentless sharpening of the blade. The blade is you, your mind, your body, your spirit. A purpose without the discipline to enact it is nothing more than a daydream. It is a dull, useless piece of iron. Discipline is the whetstone. It is the daily, grinding, often monotonous process of honing your edge until you are sharp enough to cut through any obstacle. This is where most men fail. They are inspired by the grand vision of their purpose, but they are repulsed by the unglamorous reality of the work required. They want the glory of the warrior but not the mud, the blood, and the endless training. You must learn to fall in love with the grind. You must rewire your brain to derive satisfaction not from the achievement but from the effort. The focus is not on the summit of the mountain but on the feeling of each upward step. You must build a life of structure and ritual, not as a prison, a way to build momentum that becomes an unstoppable force. Your day must be a testament to your code. If you stand for strength, your day must include acts of physical and mental hardship. The intense workout that pushes your body to its limits. The cold exposure that teaches your mind to endure shock. The reading of difficult texts that expands your intellect. If you stand for creation, your day must be built around protected blocks of deep work, where you wage war against distraction and pour your soul into your craft. This discipline is not about motivation. Motivation is a fleeting emotion, a fair-weather friend. Discipline is a commitment, a sacred vow you make to your future self. It is the act of showing up when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to stay in bed, to take the easy path. It is in these moments of resistance that the true forging happens. When you choose the workout over the couch, you are not just building muscle, you are building character. You are proving to yourself on a cellular level that you are the kind of man who does what he says he will do. You are stacking evidence in favor of your new identity. Each completed task, no matter how small, is another layer of tempered steel. This is the alchemy of the mundane, the transformation of daily, repetitive actions into an unbreakable will. You are not just doing things, you are becoming someone. Someone sharp, someone ready, someone dangerous. The world is filled with dull blades, men of grand ideas and weak execution. You will be different. Your edge will be so keen that your very intention becomes an act of power. Now we must speak of the nature of this dangerous power. The word itself has been poisoned by a culture that fears masculine strength. When they hear dangerous, they think of uncontrolled aggression, of brute force, of harm. This is a deliberate misinterpretation designed to keep good men weak. The danger we are cultivating here is not the danger of a rabid dog, but the danger of a dormant volcano. It is the quiet, immense, potential energy of a man who is so utterly in command of himself that he becomes a force of nature. The first element of this power is the power of the unshakable frame. Your frame is your reality. It is the lens through which you interpret the world. The drifter's frame is weak and permeable. It is constantly being shaped by external opinions, by the news cycle, by the whims of others. He reacts. He is emotionally volatile. His peace can be shattered by a careless comment or a negative outcome. The man of dangerous purpose, however, has a frame forged of solid steel. His reality is generated internally based on his code. He does not react, he responds. He observes the chaos of the world from a calm, centered core of inner certainty. This makes him terrifyingly effective. While others are panicking, he is strategizing. While others are consumed by emotion, he is executing. He cannot be manipulated by emotional appeals or shamed into compliance because his validation comes from his adherence to his code, not from the approval of the crowd. He is dangerous because he is a rock in a river of hysteria. The second element is the power of unapologetic ambition. The drifter is taught to shrink, to play small, to not want too much. He is told that ambition is selfish. The warrior knows that ambition, when aligned with a noble purpose, is a sacred duty. It is his responsibility to maximize his potential, to build, to create, to achieve, to become as powerful and influential as he possibly can, so that he can project his values onto the world. He is not ashamed of his hunger for excellence. He does not apologize for the fire in his belly. He sees his success not as taking from others, but as creating a tide that lifts all ships worthy of sailing. This ambition is dangerous to the status quo, which thrives on mediocrity and envy. It is a silent rebuke to all those who have settled, who have given up, who have made peace with their own smallness. The third and most potent element is the power of indifference. Not the indifference of apathy, which belongs to the drifter, but the disciplined, strategic indifference of the stoic. The man of dangerous purpose understands what he can and cannot control. He pours every ounce of his energy into his actions, his thoughts, his character, the things within his power. He cultivates a profound and genuine indifference to the outcomes he cannot control, the opinions of others, the twists of fate, the rewards and recognition of the world. He does the work for the sake of the work. He lives by his code for the sake of his code. This frees him from the psychological chains of hope and fear that enslave most men. He is not crushed by failure, nor is he inflated by success. He simply continues on his path, executing his purpose with the calm, relentless consistency of a force of nature. This makes him unpredictable and impossible to demoralize. He is dangerous because he cannot be broken. His spirit has no external dependencies. He is a self-contained universe of will. This is the power you are building. The power to be a king in your own mind, regardless of the circumstances of your life. As you walk this path, as you kill the drifter and forge the warrior, you will inevitably face the great purification, the solitude of the wolf. The herd instinct is deeply ingrained in us. We seek safety and validation in numbers. But the path to profound transformation is, by its very nature, a lonely one. It is a journey into the wilderness of the self, and you must be prepared to walk it alone. When you begin to change, when you start to operate on a different frequency, the people around you will notice, and they will not always celebrate it. Your new discipline will be a mirror that reflects their own lack of it. Your newfound purpose will highlight their own aimlessness. Your strength will make them uncomfortable with their own weakness. Some will try to pull you back down. They will do it subtly with passive-aggressive comments, with invitations to revert to old, comfortable habits, with concerned trolling that masks their own fear. You've changed, they'll say, and it will not be a compliment. You're too intense, they'll complain. Why can't you just relax? They are the guardians of the crab bucket, and they cannot stand to see one of their own begin to climb out. You must be ruthless in cutting these ties. This is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-preservation. You are a blacksmith forging a sword. You cannot allow anyone into your forge who might douse the flames or steal your tools. Your energy is your most precious resource, and you must protect it fiercely from those who would drain it with their negativity and doubt. Others will simply drift away. The bonds you shared, often forged in the fires of mutual mediocrity, complaining, gossiping, distracting yourselves together, will no longer have any fuel. The conversations will become strained. You will have nothing left to say to each other, for you are speaking different languages. You are living in different worlds. Let them go. Do not mourn these losses. See them for what they are, the shedding of a skin that no longer fits. It is a necessary and healthy part of your evolution. In this solitude you will find your true strength. The drifter fears being alone because in the silence he has to confront his own emptiness. The warrior embraces solitude because it is in the silence that he can hear his own inner voice. It is in solitude that he does his deepest work. He learns to become his own best company, his own advisor, his own source of validation. He becomes a lone wolf, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. A wolf is a social creature, but the alpha is defined by his ability to survive and thrive on his own. His power is not derived from the pack, but from his own inherent capabilities. He leads not because he needs followers, but because his strength naturally commands respect. You must learn to be that wolf. Find comfort in your own presence. Find power in your own thoughts. For it is only when you are no longer afraid of being alone that you can truly choose who you allow into your world, not from a place of neediness, but from a place of sovereign strength. This solitude is not a curse. It is the final tempering of the blade. We have journeyed far. We have seen that the drift you feel is a carefully constructed cage, and that understanding this is the first key to your freedom. We have walked through the grim necessity of executing your weaker self, the drifter who clings to comfort and fears the fire of transformation. We have stood in the void that follows and understood that purpose is not a thing to be found, but a compass to be forged from the steel of a personal code, a true north that will guide you through any storm. We have felt the grinding friction of the whetstone, recognizing that daily, monotonous discipline is the only path to a sharp and ready soul. But this is merely the blueprint of the weapon, the knowledge of how the blade is made. The journey ahead demands that you learn to wield it, to integrate this newfound power into a world that is not ready for it. The next steps are about mastering the art of movement, the strategy of a man who knows his own weight, and the silent language of power that is spoken not with words, but with presence. We are moving from the forge into the world, and the true tests are yet to come. When was the last time you sat in complete silence, with no phone, no music, no distractions, and simply listened to the quality of your own thoughts? When did you last truly interrogate the voice in your head and ask yourself, is this voice mine, or is it an echo of the world around me? The drifter is terrified of this silence, for it is a mirror. The warrior seeks it, for it is a whetstone. The quality of your inner world dictates the quality of your outer world. The battle is won or lost in the 6 inches between your ears long before it ever manifests in reality. The chaos of the world is a reflection of the chaos in the minds of men. To command your life, you must first command your mind. This is not about positive thinking or hollow affirmations. This is about becoming the absolute, undisputed sovereign of your own consciousness. It is about building a mental fortress so impenetrable that no external event, no opinion, no insult can breach its walls. The first step is to become the sentinel at the gate of your mind. You must vigilantly monitor every thought that seeks entry. Most people's minds are open cities, plundered and occupied by any passing whim, any fear-mongering headline, any negative projection from others. Your mind must become a citadel. When a thought appears, you do not immediately identify with it. You challenge it. You ask, is this thought true? Is this thought useful? Does this thought serve my purpose? Does this thought align with my code? If the answer is no, you deny it entry. You do not fight it. You do not argue with it. You simply observe it, acknowledge its presence, and refuse to give it your energy. You let it pass by like a cloud in the sky. This is the practice of non-attachment. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This single shift in perspective is the foundation of all mental strength. It creates a space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom and your power. The second step is to consciously cultivate the thoughts you do allow inside. You must deliberately plant the seeds of the mindset you wish to grow. This is done through a process of disciplined consumption and focused contemplation. You must be as careful about what you feed your mind as you are about what you feed your body. Sever your connection to the endless stream of outrage, fear, and trivia that constitutes the modern information landscape. It is poison. It is designed to make you anxious, reactive, and weak. Replace it with the words and ideas of the great minds of history. Read the Stoics. Read the philosophers. Read the biographies of great men and women who shaped the world through the force of their will. Let their strength, their resilience, their clarity of thought become the soil in which your own mental fortress is built. And then you must contemplate these ideas. It is not enough to simply consume them. You must wrestle with them, journal about them. Meditate on their meaning and how they apply to your own life. This is the act of turning raw information into integrated wisdom. You are not just learning. You are forging mental models, frameworks for viewing the world that are resilient, empowering, and aligned with your purpose. You are building an internal council of the wisest minds in history, and their counsel will be with you in any moment of trial or decision. This is how you build a mind that is not a liability, but your single greatest weapon. As you cultivate this inner world, your outer world will begin to transform. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you interact with others, it all begins to change. You will begin to develop what can only be described as presence. Presence is the palpable aura of a man who is fully aligned, mind, body, and spirit. It is the quiet confidence of someone who is not seeking anything from anyone, because he has already found everything he needs within himself. The drifter is needy. He craves attention, validation, and approval. His energy is scattered, his focus is outward. He leans in, seeking to please, to placate, to be accepted. He talks too much, filling the silence because he is uncomfortable with it. His movements are hesitant, his posture is apologetic. He occupies less space than he should, a physical manifestation of his own sense of smallness. The man of dangerous purpose, the warrior, is the opposite. His energy is consolidated, his focus is inward. He is a gravitational center. He doesn't lean in, he makes the world lean toward him. He is comfortable with silence, understanding that power often lies in what is not said. When he speaks, his words have weight because they are few and they are chosen with precision. They are not arrows shot at random, but spears thrown at a specific target. His movements are deliberate and economical. His posture is erect, his gaze is steady. He occupies his space unapologetically. He is not aggressive, but he is undeniably present. This is not a series of techniques to be faked. It is the natural byproduct of a man who has done the inner work. It is the physical manifestation of a sovereign mind. You cultivate this presence by practicing mindfulness in every action. When you walk, just walk. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the air on your skin. When you listen to someone, just listen. Don't formulate your reply while they are speaking. Give them the full force of your attention. This practice of being fully in the present moment anchors you in your body and stops the frantic, scattered energy of the drifter. It centers you. It makes you solid. People will feel this solidity. They may not be able to articulate it, but they will recognize that they are in the presence of someone different, someone grounded, someone who is not easily swayed, someone who is in control of his own reality. This is the silent language of power. It is a language that is felt, not heard, and it is more persuasive than any argument. It is the danger of a man who is completely, utterly, and unshakably himself. The final and most profound stage of this awakening is the embrace of what the Stoics called amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is not a passive acceptance of whatever comes your way. It is an active, joyful, and warrior-like embrace of all of life, the good and the bad, the pleasure and the pain, the victory and the defeat. The drifter is a victim of his circumstances. He is constantly wishing things were different. He complains about his luck, about the unfairness of the world, about the obstacles in his path. He sees hardship as a punishment, as a sign that he should give up. His life is a constant struggle against reality. The warrior, the man of dangerous purpose, sees reality as his training ground. He understands that the obstacle is the way. He does not pray for an easy life. He prays for the strength to endure a difficult one. He sees every challenge, every setback, every moment of pain as an opportunity delivered by fate to practice his virtues, to practice his courage, his resilience, his wisdom, his discipline. When he faces a great obstacle, he does not say, "Why is this happening to me?" He says, "This is happening for me. This is the fire I need to further temper my steel. This is the opponent I need to test my skills." He learns to love the struggle itself, for he knows that it is the struggle that makes him strong. He would not trade his scars for anything, for they are the proof of the battles he has won, the evidence of his growth. This mindset makes you invincible. If you can find benefit in adversity, if you can transmute pain into power, then what can possibly harm you? What external event can break a man who has decided that everything that happens, no matter how terrible it may seem, is a gift? This is the ultimate freedom. It is the ability to look at the worst the world can throw at you, to look it square in the eye and to say, "Thank you, I needed that." This is not a denial of pain. The pain is real. The suffering is real. Amor fati is not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It is about choosing to find meaning in the hurt. It is about choosing to see the fire not as something that will consume you, but as something that will purify you. This is the alchemy of the soul. To cultivate this, you must practice gratitude not just for the good, but for the hard. At the end of each day, reflect not only on your successes, but on your challenges. For each challenge, find the lesson. Find the strength it forged in you. Reframe it from a negative to a positive. The deal that fell through taught you a valuable lesson in negotiation. The betrayal by a friend revealed their true character and freed you from a false bond. The grueling workout that left you sore and exhausted built a new level of physical and mental fortitude. When you begin to consciously and repeatedly find the opportunity in the obstacle, you are rewiring your entire perception of reality. You are no longer a victim of fate, but a willing and eager partner with it. You are dancing with the chaos instead of being drowned by it. This is the mindset of a king. This is the deep, abiding peace that lies at the heart of the warrior. It is a dangerous peace, for it is a peace that cannot be disturbed by the turmoil of the world. It is the final awakening. The drifter is dead. The warrior is born, and his purpose is not just a direction, but a joyful embrace of the entire journey in all of its terrible and beautiful glory. Look at your hands. Feel the texture of your skin, the strength in your bones. These are the hands of a builder, a creator, a fighter. For too long they have been idle, or worse, they have been used for trivialities, for the mindless consumption that defines the drifter. But their true purpose lies dormant within them. They are meant to grip the hilt of a sword, the shaft of a hammer, the pen that writes a new destiny. They are meant to build a legacy, to shape the raw material of your life into a monument of strength and purpose. The numbness you have felt is the atrophy of disuse. The awakening is the feeling of blood rushing back into them, the tingling sensation of potential ready to be unleashed. The path forward will not be easy. The world will test your new resolve at every turn. The ghosts of your old habits will whisper to you in moments of weakness. The comfort of the drift will always be a tempting siren song, but you are no longer a rudderless ship. You have forged a compass. You have sharpened your blade. You have fortified your mind. You are no longer a drifter, passively accepting the currents. You are the storm. You are the force that sets the currents in motion. You must carry yourself as such. Walk with the quiet certainty of a man who knows his own worth, not because of what he has, but because of what he has overcome within himself. Speak with the authority of a man whose words are backed by action and aligned with an unbreakable code. See the world through the eyes of a warrior who finds opportunity in every obstacle and strength in every struggle. This is a lifelong commitment. It is not a 30-day challenge or a temporary fix. It is a complete and radical reimagining of who you are. It is a daily choice. Every morning you wake, you must choose to kill the drifter again. You must choose to pick up the whetstone and sharpen your discipline. You must choose to align your actions with your true north. It is a war waged on 1,000 fronts every single day, and the only ground that matters is the territory of your own soul. The drifter within you is dying. He is on his deathbed, gasping his last. The question is no longer if he will be replaced, but by what kind of man, what kind of warrior. The world is drowning in ghosts, in hollow men drifting toward quiet desperation. It does not need another one. It needs your fire. It needs your edge. It needs the dangerous purpose that only you can bring. So, what will you burn first?